All right, here we are, round one. Unfortunately, my computer screen is acting up, and I have to use a different screen, which makes my cursor comically large. So I apologize for the comically large cursor. And we won the die roll, which is excellent. So we're gonna play first, and this hand has almost nothing we want. It's got two reanimate spells, but no semblance of a way to get a Gristlebrand into the graveyard. This hand, quite similar to the other one, almost exactly the same. Mana, two reanimate spells, and just, a creature that we don't really care about. This hand's a lot better. It's got two ways to look for a Gristlebrand. That card's pretty good. That's potentially mana, but I think we're going to end up not having that in our hand. But we'll put it on top, just for fun. It's fun to put it on top. Opponent sees that and they go, "Uh-oh, that top card is good," and then you shuffle it away, and then they think, "Haha, you didn't get that good card." So that's why we did that, because it's just fun. It's fun. All right, loot away, because we're looking for reanimate spell here. Okay, so now we've got two Chancellor triggers, which is sweet. We've got two mana, and we've got an Entomb and an Exhume. So pretty good start for a multi 5. Let's see how bad things get when my opponent plays his cards, his or her cards, their cards. Let's see if he eats up the chance triggers. Okay, that's what he's going to go ahead and do. If we draw another reanimate spell, I think we surely just fire off the Exhume and slow him down with the Chancellors. If we don't, then I think, well, we have 3 mana now, and we have the looting. So actually, I think there's a good chance this Entomb won't resolve unless we fire off this Exhume first. Like, it's unlikely against a blue deck that they both resolve, unless he's Storm, and then the Chancellor's excellent anyway. Okay, so he's either Storm or he needs to cantrip into counter magic, which is a good place for us to be, because we have this Entomb and we have a Chancellor for him to deal with or try and cast things through. If he's not Storm, I don't think the Chancellor will win, because of the color he's playing means he's probably playing Baleful Strix, which Baleful Strix is just a really good card against all these big expensive creatures, especially Chancellor. Inquisition, that's pretty good. Okay, so probably not Storm. I don't think Storm would want to play Inquisition of Kozilek. I think a Delver deck wants to play Inquisition of Kozilek. I don't mind this taking my Entomb, considering there's a second Chancellor in the graveyard, which is going to be good. When there's 2 of them, it's quite hard to beat that. Okay, so if we loot and we hit a 2-mana reanimate spell, we can discard that. So we'll have 2 cards, we'll draw 2 cards, we'll have to discard 2 cards, and we'll keep 1. So probably better to just go ahead and loot here and use up my mana and have the 3rd land in play. Get a Badlands. It's going to be hard for him to kill us and to wasteland us twice. This would have been nice this turn. Would have been nice, because we could have named Baleful Strix, but he might not be playing Baleful Strix. He probably is with that. Oh no. MTGO. You took my attack back. That is sad. Hopefully it doesn't matter that much. Probably will. He's probably Grixis Delver, and if he gets a flip Delver and a Bolt, then that can deal with my Chancellor. And he's going to be at a lower or higher life total than he should be, because that attack didn't quite get registered correctly. I love the F6 button. because I don't have to do anything when I'm not on my main phase. But I tried to attack and then F6, but it took my attack away from me. It's a good card. Good card to draw. He shuffled. Okay. So let's make our attack happen this time. And let's try and resolve this. This can resolve through everything but a force of will, I think. Did he shuffle? Chose to shuffle, yeah. So good chance this resolves. He should be dead next turn to the two Chancellors, but the attack didn't quite go through. And he doesn't think he can beat them. I'm going to put him on Grixis Delver because of that Inquisition of Kozilek. So I want to bring in all these removal spells that are going to always hit something and take out some of these, probably 3 of them, because they won't always hit. And then the sideboard games, they're just going to have more things. And I'm going to bring in, you know, I think there's a chance that they're not playing a Cage. He might be, he might not be. It would just be a singleton. So I'm not going to bring in the Abrade, even though it can kill Delver. It's possible it's good. Maybe it's good. I don't really want to be killing their creatures. I'm going to bring in Elish Norn because it's great. And I think that's it. And then I can cut one of these because the trigger isn't quite as good. This card's not very good against them. And that's what we'll call that good. Like that. That's 60 cards. The right number. The correct number is 60 cards. You don't want to put 61 in there. You'll always end up drawing that extra card and never drawing the ones you want. All right, game 2 is starting. Let's see if it can go as well now that he's going to have a lot more things in his deck that are good against us. His hand looks pretty good. It's pretty weak to hate. You're going to find out that that happens a lot in the sideboard games, that if they have their hate, you're going to lose. If they just have counter spells, you usually win, or often win. Sometimes they can get a good enough clock and enough counterspells to stop you or kill you before you can get that last, reanimate spell fired off. But the real problem is like surgical extraction. Like if they surgical my Gristlebrand, I'm drawing much thinner than if that card is even in my deck, especially if it's in the graveyard. Okay, that is not a Grafdigger's Cage, so we got to keep playing. Oh, that's a good draw. All right, so we're actually just going to go ahead and start with that. Going to duress him, play out the Petal first in case he tries to daze us. And then we might bait on his turn with the Entomb, depending on whether or not it seems like he's going to just have it surgical after we see what's going on. So he has a surgical and a daze. So, well, we're definitely taking the surgical. This is a good strong play from us. Take the one card that I mentioned earlier that makes it so we lose, and then we probably, depending on if he reveals a sweet spell here or not, he does not. We're probably just going to go ahead and loot next turn. All right, so he drew a Delver. So this is real good for us. Real good. If we hit a Dark Ritual off of or another Petal, then we're just going to win on the spot. If not, then he has a turn to draw a Force of Will or another Surgical Extraction. Okay, so we hit pretty much everything we need. which is pretty awesome. Feel like we're getting away with murder here. That duress was the key, actually. The duress we drew on turn 1 was the key to winning this one. And we haven't won yet. He does have 6 power worth of that in his hand, which is pretty good. So now we'll just go ahead and let's see. Do we have another creature? No. Did we get rid of our Entomb? Yes. Do we have a therapy? No. So move along. Don't want to go any lower. Go ahead and pitch this guy. Get rid of some of these fetch lands and hope again that they don't draw something insane. Super insane. Surgical would actually be pretty annoying, right? That's okay. I mean, we still have a game here because my 7 wasn't great, and these 2 lightning bolts are a little bit scary. It's quite a bit of damage. Like, and it can also potentially, like, you know, interfere with my lifelink. If he bolts his Delvers in response to my attack, or when he blocks and then he bolts it, then I won't get the lifelink. And then he can swing back for 3 plus 6 from the other bolt, which is not quite enough. We know his hand, so we can just get a Chancellor here, and then he can't do that play, which is pretty cool. So that should probably be good enough. He can, like, he can bolt now, but that's not going to get him anywhere. Yeah. So here we're definitely going to gain 7 life. I mean, he might accidentally not realize what's going to happen here and try and do that, but no, it doesn't look like it. Okay. And go ahead and play this out. And we have a blocker here. If he like bolts our Chancellor for 2 mana, like if he draws a land, bolts our Chancellor, it'll kill the Chancellor, but it's not good for him. He's still in a really rough spot. And if he doesn't draw a land, he doesn't get to cast anything. So, okay, that's the end of that game. Be back in a minute for round